welcome to News Across Nigeria. I am Millicent Nwoka. On the program today, fire from Finance Department disrupts activities at the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria headquarters in Lagos. Police dispersed protesters calling for the release of Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky in Abuja. Human rights activists default action. And the Army donates instructional materials to IDP school children in Adamawa State. Well, we start with fire at the headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FANN, crippling activities at the Murtala Mohammed Airport and caused traffic to build up along the Ikeja-Agege motorway today. The fire is said to have started from the Finance Department. Motorists had a hard time accessing the airport as men of the FANN fire service worked to put out the fire. As at the time of filing in this report, no one knows the cause of the fire, where it started, or the extent of damage, only that the impact left passengers walking to their destinations and a long queue of vehicles. Eyewitness reports say the workers were watching the rescue efforts after they had been moved to safety from the inferno. The Nigerian police has dispersed supporters calling for the release of Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky at the Unity Fountain in Abuja. The protesters were initially sprayed with water cannons, and after they refused to move, the police used tear gas to force them into the streets. The former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalo, who addressed the protesters, advised the federal government to respect the rule of law by releasing Sheikh El-Zakzaky, who has been incarcerated for 485 days. El-Zakzaky and his wife Zena Ibrahim have been in detention for more than a year following a clash between his supporters and the Nigerian military, in which soldiers allegedly killed hundreds of men, women and children. The authorities claim he is being held in protective custody.
The courts are established to protect our laws and our people under law. When a man goes to court, gets an order, a responsible government does what? It obeys it. When you keep a fellow Nigerian citizen for 485 days in detention, without telling us what he has done, without giving him freedom, you violate the Constitution. You violate your office, you violate Nigerians.
It is very disappointing, the turn of events that have taken place this morning. This was a very peaceful gathering and procession. It was very peaceful. The people were speaking with police. They were willing to comply with the directives given. And then out of the blue, without any provocation whatsoever, they deployed their water cannons, deployed dogs, shot live rounds of ammunition into the air, and all that. And without absolutely no provocation whatsoever. I have no understanding of why this has gone on. It is a constitutional right, as guaranteed by our Constitution, for people to be able to gather for whatever reason and for whatever purpose. People should be able to gather. Our courts have upheld this repeatedly, as recently as 2014.
A federal high court in Abuja has currently hearing an application brought by the prosecution in the case of the Federal Republic of Nigeria against Mohammed Usman, otherwise called Khalid Al-Banawi. The prosecution is asking the court to give an order that the witness give evidence behind a screen and that their identity be kept secret. The suspect, Al-Banawi, and 6 other Boko Haram members were arraigned on the 14th of March for allegedly killing 5 foreigners who were abducted in Kebbi State in 2011. The charges against the defendants also borders on terrorism and threats to national security. After hearing the application, Justice John Soho granted their plea. And the war on insurgency may be gradually coming to an end, with more of the internally displaced persons returning to their homes, and there are still people in the IDP camps, children of school age. Well, the army is taking the bull by the horn to providing quality education for these children in the camps, as training them will prevent them from being recruited as terrorists.
The Malkohi IDP camp in Fufore local government area of Adamawa State. Hundreds of families still reside here with their children, while those of school age head to the classrooms. Their younger siblings look on, hoping to someday join the train. Today, there's something happening for those in school. Visitors from the military have come, bearing gifts.
The need to provide qualitative education for the children at various IDP camps and for the military to continue to win the hearts and minds of the citizens necessitated the earlier deployment of teachers to the IDP camps.
The Adamawa State Coordinator of NEMA, Saad Bello, and a parent on camp appreciate this gesture.
First of all, when we left home, when they saw this happen, we were from this bush to that bush, sleeping under trees. There was no food for us. There was no shelter to live. We thank God the army brought us to the camp and settled us. They still remembered us and create a school for our children. Most of these our children in the camp, some have never attempted school before, but now they can even read, write in English.
The visitors then take a tour of the makeshift classrooms in company of officials of the Adamawa State Ministry of Education.
For now, it is above average. When we came here, these were people that when you see them, you know they have passed through hell. But they have been reformed in a very great way. They have changed. There's a lot of transformation.
During the 2016-2017 academic session, 11 IDP primary school children were selected to participate in the common entrance examinations into junior secondary schools, and all passed with good grades. In spite of their present living conditions, these children need only a little push to excel. No doubt the instructional materials will boost their performance.
Elsewhere, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says the federal government is ready to clamp down on anyone who tries to sabotage the efforts of his ministry to ensuring that citizens should be able to get access to power safely, reliably and consistently. The minister gave this warning at the 14th monthly power sector operators meeting held at the National Control Center of Osogbo, Osun State. He also wants concerned parties in power sector to remain committed to their various roles in supplying and distributing power effectively.
Operators of the power sector from across the states in Nigeria gather in Osogbo, Osun State's capital, for the 14th monthly power sector meeting. They're here to find practical solutions to critical issues facing the Nigerian electricity supply industry, which has long been a major concern for all. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who chaired the meeting, did not mince words, as he said recent reorganization of the regulatory body in the sector is part of the new plans to check the challenges in the sector.
In any business that is properly run, when losses begin to occur, those who run those businesses either pay for them, either by losing their jobs or making refunds, or by resigning. We are heading in that direction.
He also affirms that the federal government is determined to enforce the rules and regulations applicable in the power sector to ensure accessible, affordable and steady power supply to Nigerians.
Because this is not a one-way relationship, consumers who demand service are also expected to change their ways. They must be prepared to pay for what they use. They must understand that energy theft is a very serious offense and it will be punished.
The transmission company and the regulatory body agree there are shortcomings, promising to work towards decentralizing its operations.
Within the next few weeks, we'll start the consultation that is required, during which we'll direct all licenses to meet this minimum capitalization requirement to make sure that you can do the required investment, required reinforcements, required service delivery that consumers expect in this country.
It is important that as we exercise our choices as managers of the industry, we must ensure that the right signal is sent to the outside.
At the end of the meeting, Incidents of insider malpractice and its negative impact on the customers, among other things, were acknowledged, and the need for vigilance to eliminate such cases was agreed upon.